Hello everyone, my name is Ryan Cam and welcome back to the Horror Movie Iceberg podcast where myself and Russell Howell watch disturbing horror movies until we tap out. Russell, how are you?
Good. Looking forward to talking about this one. This one is it's kind of crazy because I mean, is it really like a horror movie? You know what I mean? It's like kind of like almost sci-fi too. But looking forward to talking about the fourth kind here. It's been a minute since I saw it. I remember seeing this movie in the theaters when it came out. So yeah, it's been many years removed. Obviously, it came out in 2009, so 16 years removed from it. So it'd be kind of fun to talk about this one.
Yeah, the found footage boom had not started yet, but this movie came out the same year as Paranormal Activity, so the boom was getting ready to happen. And like Russell mentioned, we're going to be talking about the fourth kind. But all throughout the month of October, we've been doing the Horror Movie Iceberg podcast on Fridays because I'm doing Scary Mania on the channel. This is a horror movie podcast. If there was a nice little synergy there. So that's going to be throughout the remainder of the month. And then we'll be back to 60s and 2000s and the normal slate. But throughout the rest of the month, we're tackling the Horror Movie Iceberg. We took care of As Above, So Below last week. And then this week, we're going to be taking a look at the fourth kind.
Came into my room. And it took me away.
This was directed by Olatunde Asunsami. I butchered that. I am so sorry. Please be kind. It starred Mila Jovovich, Will Patton, Hakeem Kai Kazim, and Corey Johnson, among others. And this is based on an alleged true story about a doctor played by Mila Jovovich who claims that she and some of her patients have seen UFO sightings. They don't know that they're UFO sightings, but they feel so real that there's nothing other than they can describe it as such. But it begins to affect their normal lives. The first thing I want to get off the bat is that in terms of like, this is considered found footage in some circles.
Yeah.
I wouldn't even consider it that. Like, this movie's very weird in that it's presented in like a documentary. The first scene of the movie, you see Mila Jovovich as Mila Jovovich saying, "I'm Mila Jovovich and I'm playing Dr. Ann Tyler in this film." So they're breaking the fourth wall. And then they're saying, this is based on true events, but whether or not you actually believe them is entirely up to you. So this is kind of like a mockumentary, but it's also kind of not. They don't know what to do with like choosing. It's either a mockumentary or it's not. And I would prefer if they did the not version myself.
Yeah, I mean, found footage you could put in like air quotes because, like you said, it's really not a found footage. I do like in the movie though when they are showing it like the video footage of what happened, and then Mila Jovovich's character, like, you know what I mean? They're kind of like they're showing like her character, like who she's playing, and then the original character, and they're kind of having that side by side. I kind of like that, even to where the screens even kind of teeter totter, and then it becomes one screen. I do like that. But like for found footage, I wouldn't really call this a found footage film just because of the fact that it's really not, you know?
Yes. And then again, it's like this whole thing of, is it, isn't it? Is it, isn't it? And I'm like, there's a compelling movie in here. Like I'll throw out two UFO movies that I think are pretty effective. Contact, the Robert Zemeckis one starring Jodie Foster, and Fire in the Sky starring Kurt Russell. Fire in the Sky is terrifying. I have not seen it in a very long time, but there are a couple scenes where I was not prepared, and I'll just leave it at that. Maybe one day we'll cover it on the show. But what I will say is that you can do UFO stuff as horror, and it can work. And I just didn't think this one really worked that well.
Well, that and then the whole entire thing, and I mean, it's really not ruining it because obviously we know that it's an abduction or whatever. It's about UFOs. So the white owl is pretty much, synonymous for UFOs or whatever, I guess, is what I got from it. So the white owl is supposed to be representing the alien abduction, or aliens or whatever, but it's just put in their memory as a white owl, I guess, to just so that it could like hide, so that nobody really knows what's going on. They just say it's a white owl. It's like, oh, okay, it's a white owl. I mean, the movie's okay enough. There are a couple scenes where it does get you like jump scares. More so like when the lady just breaks out screaming, or like there's like that terrifying scene where the guy like kind of floats off. That's the one that breaks his like vertebrae or whatever. I mean,
Yeah.
again, if it would have taken itself seriously and just stuck with what it wanted to stick with instead of kind of playing ping pong, I think it would have been a more effective film. But overall, I like it enough to where it lets you decide, whether or not you believe what happened. I just think it would have been really cool if we saw more of the supernatural near towards the end of the film. Do you know what I mean? And at least open it up to where, you know what I mean? You get that chance, you see the UFO or whatever, you see the alien being or whatever, and then it's kind of up to you to believe whether or not what they saw or whatever took place really happened. You know what I mean? As opposed to, well, it's a white owl and it's, you know what I mean? Like, I don't know. I just think that would have been more effective had we seen the alien near the end of the film.
You barely even see any aliens in this. Like the most you
Yeah.
see is like the screwdriver kind of going in because their whole thing is like the neck and the spine.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
and so like you see like the needle going in, but you don't and I'm not saying you should do like ET. You shouldn't do
Yeah.
like something like War of the Worlds where it's like a big old giant robot. I'm not saying
Yeah.
that. But like have them in outlines. It worked for Arrival, the Denis Villeneuve movie. Those aliens were massive, but you only see one of them in shadows for one scene, and
In
that's it.
signs.
But yeah, exactly. But it paints the picture of these things are massive, and they're not here to hurt us, but they're still weirding us out. But
Yeah.
you barely even see aliens at all. They're more like implied more than anything. And again, it kind of plays into that whole like, did this really happen to Dr. Tyler, or is she just coping with the fact that her husband committed suicide? So it's like,
And she hasn't
they
even come to
needed,
terms with that.
they needed to pick one and stick with it. That's my point. And
Yeah.
there's compelling stuff here. Like, I think Mila Jovovich is honestly pretty good in this. I mean, there's a reputation that she's gotten where she's just Paul W.S. Anderson's wife. But I think here, she's actually pretty good. I like her in Fifth Element. She was Leeloo Dallas in that one. Leeloo Dallas Multipass, one of my all-time favorites.
And I'm a sucker for
she's good.
Ultraviolet too. I liked Ultraviolet, so I'm guilty of that one.
I've never seen that one. I need to.
Yeah,
But
it wasn't bad.
the point is, I think she does a great job here. There's a couple scenes where my heart just breaks for her because you can just tell her sanity is just going ooh, and it's that heartbreaking stuff. And Will Patton as this sheriff doesn't really make things any better either, because every other scene is like, yeah, where did your husband go specifically? Like kind of trolling her, kind of because he knows, but she almost doesn't, and he's
Yeah.
not really helping things.
Well, then you have her son who's kind of egging her on with the stuff that he says. He's not making it any easier on her. And then
No.
obviously you have her daughter who's blind because of an incident or whatever that left her blind. So, I mean, she's wrestling with a lot. She's juggling a lot of things. You can tell there's a lot of pressure on her. Will Patton's character obviously not, but Will Patton always can play the asshole perfectly. I think he's an actor. He just blend into whatever you put him in, and I think he's just that type of actor. Like a side character actor that he's always really in. But yeah, Mila Jovovich, I think, like I said, I think she's the best part of the film. The film's okay enough. I wish we could have done more with the actual alien. Like I said, even sprinkling in like the first, like the last like 10-15 minutes of the film, just to get you like, oh, okay. Oh my, or like, just like have a shadow or whatever. It doesn't even have to be like, you have to actually see the face or anything of it. Just like maybe from the back or like just a shadow. Just to make it like I said, then at the end of the film, then you can kind of decide, which they leave that. I mean, it's not really a spoiler, but they kind of leave it up to you to interpret what you watched. I mean, like, is it? I mean, did it happen? Did it not happen? And they leave it up to you with that.
Exactly. And I think at the end of the day, I don't want to give this a full-blown forgettable, but I mean, because I did like some stuff here, I'm going to give this a good rating, but a very tepid, like, it's good. It's
It's a middle of
watchable.
middle of the road for me. You know,
It's
it's fine.
it's competent. I remember Jeremy Johns, like, I'm still subscribed to him, but one of the first, like, reviews he ever did was for this one, and the intro was like the first kind, sighting, and like he ranked the kinds, and then the fourth kind, horribly disappointing movie, and I'll just never forget that intro as long as I live.
Yeah. Yeah, and like I said, I remember seeing the movie. Fine, I love the poster. I thought the poster was really cool. And that was something that's always seared into my head. The cover of the film, but and seeing it in the theater, like a loud setting, I think was a little unnerving too, for sure. Some of those scenes. But at the end of the day, I think it's a competent enough film. I just think we could have went some different directions. The tail end of the film. I mean, and outside of that, and kind of like what you said there at the beginning, it's like, well, she's introducing herself as the actress, and then okay, now she's the Abigail, like she's the psychiatrist now. It's like, well, what are we doing? Like, you know what I mean? So it does get murky there, and I noticed even the director comes in and he's interviewing as the director. I'm like, what are we like? What is going on? You know what I mean? It does get kind of murky there.
It gets too cute with the
Yeah,
meta stuff.
yeah, for sure.
Yeah, so I pass it off to all of you. What did you think? What did you think of the movie if you've seen it? Let us know in the comments. We would love to read what you have to say. And Russell, it's an honor to do this with you every week. Tell the people where they can find you.
Yeah, Notorious by Chance is the Facebook group. Chance and I are going to be recording Schindler's List this weekend. They did drop several videos on Notorious by Chance on YouTube. Football season's upon us, so Left Side, Strong Side, they have a lot of football talk there. So if you're a football fan, check that out. They put a lot of good work out there as well. And then you guys can find us at NBC Podcast on the TikTok, which we got to get better on that. It's funny because like, we hop around, we try to do different things. There's just so many platforms at NBC Podcasts on Twitter, X, whatever you call it. But yeah, we're always talking movies, always enjoying what we do.
Yep, all those links down below. Go give them a subscribe over there. As far as this channel goes, Scary Mania is ongoing. This is dropping on Friday, which means that you will also be getting a review for Fright Night, the 85 original, and I'll be joined by Jacob Collins from 3 Movie Cinema for that one. And Scary Mania 6 has just been going great. I have loved doing the videos. I mean, I always love doing Scary Mania, but Scary Mania 6 is just been particularly special. And then Russell's going to be joining me later on. We're going to be talking about the original Pet Sematary, like from 89, so stay tuned for that. As far as horror movie Iceberg podcast business goes, next up, we're going to be entering our next franchise, kinda. There's only 2 movies, but we're going to be talking about Unfriended. So we'll be talking about the original Unfriended next week. But for Russell, my name is Ryan Cam. We will see you all in the next one. Y'all take care.